Welcome to another episode of The Moon Equals Wrestling. I'm Dwan Hearn, more affectionately known as The Moon, and today's subject is okay. Technically, it's an episode that I've really wanted to do for a long time, but here's the thing: I couldn't do this subject by myself because I feel like one person's opinion on this is, just one person's opinion, and I'd rather have a bunch, like more insight than just me. So on this episode, I have guests. That's rare, but I have guests. And it's not my friend Brian. So it's the only other guest I've ever had on the show, with the exception of John Cosper. I did an interview with John Cosper. But no, I have actual guests here to discuss the subject of what is World Championship material. First, I'd like to introduce author W.W. Mitchell.
How's it going? W.W. Mitchell here. I'm an author, screenwriter, and a huge pro wrestling fan. And I'm just glad to be here.
And of course, if you've watched my other show, Soccer on the Moon, you've met this guy already. If you've seen any of the projects from Hallowed Hills, you've seen his property. He's co-owner of Malice Manor in Clarksville, Indiana. This is Joker.
How you doing? I'm Sean Joker Durkin, co-owner, like you said, of Malice Manor Haunted Attraction in Clarksville, Indiana. And I am a freaking ridiculously large wrestling fan, professional wrestling, independent wrestling. Me and Moon was talking earlier. I have been watching wrestling since my eyeballs can remember watching anything. So,
yeah, we were talking about how he was watching WrestleMania 2. And we actually had to sit back and look up when WrestleMania happened. WrestleMania 1 was in 85, I think we said.
In 85, And
so this is 86. I was 3.
I went to the Rochester War Memorial to watch on the Jumbotron because the pay-per-view didn't exist back then. And the only way to watch it, you had to go to a venue that was showing the whole show.
Yeah, that was back in the day for theater watching,
theater watching. Yeah, theater.
Those types of things in the 80s was a whole different beast. You didn't just go home, click a few buttons, and order it. And not like the 90s, you didn't just make a phone call to your cable company or a satellite provider, and then just order stuff. You had to leave the house.
You had to buy a ticket.
You had to buy a ticket to a theater or it's not just regular movie theater like we know theater now, but in Louisville, Kentucky, we have a place called the Palace.
Yep.
And that's where you would host things like this. They would host WrestleMania. It'd be on the big marquee. You would fill up the theater. There'd be a big screen, and then they would broadcast from there, closed circuit television,
simulcast or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was closed circuit TV. Yep. It was a whole thing. It was just it was a whole mess back in the day. And there's a whole conversations, there's documentaries to talk about the impact into just media that WWE specifically and WrestleMania in particular did to change all of how we perceive media and consume things. Think your boxing pay-per-view at home the next time you have a house party for a boxing pay-per-view where some boxing legend comes to a draw with a YouTuber. Fucking YouTuber. Fuck the Pauls. Matter of fact, you can go ahead and get your FLP t-shirt from DwanLHearn.com/shop.
Wow.
Do I have an FLP shirt on my website? Yes, I do. Is it black and yellow? Yes, it is. Yes. As a matter of fact, as I was discussing earlier, it's on sale right now with the promo code UNKIND for 15% off. I wouldn't even plan on doing a promo spot right there.
Plug, man, good.
I wasn't even planning on doing the plug, but
I'm in.
But it's just a shirt in a rectangle that says hashtag FLP. So if I ever get a chance to do an interview with Logan Paul,
you have to wear that.
Oh, I have every intention to.
You have to be impulsive.
So how do I get him off the show? No, we're already here.
Dad puns are coming.
Oh, I've got 4 of them right here. I just had the door locked, so it's cool. So for the sake of this conversation, let's go ahead and just be very clear on what we're discussing. The conversation is about what is World Championship material. And I'll kind of go ahead and give you an idea of what prompted this idea. I remember there being, and I'm going to ask about these two in particular later on. So just know that Joe Hendry and Jay Uso. Joe Hendry and Jay Uso are two people who became world champion in their respective companies at the time. This is obviously before Joe Hendry joined WWE and was part of NXT. But they both became world champion, and then there was a lot of conversation about whether or not they were quote unquote ready, whether or not they deserved the spot. In some cases, the conversation was about how long it took them to get world championships. And of course, like I said, when we get to those questions on my list, we'll get into those two more particular. But that made me wonder, what does it mean to be world champion? So I want to be clear on what the subject is and what we mean by world champion. Not every championship is a world championship just because you say world in it. And sometimes a title doesn't say world, but it's still like the top title of that company. So I'm going to just go a little bit here. As we have currently, we have the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. That's a world title. We have the WWE Championship. That's a world title. The NXT Championship is not a world championship. Does not count in that span. Of course, you can debate with your mama if you want to. She's not on this show. We have the AEW World Championship, and we have the TNA Heavyweight Championship, and of course, New Japan, the IWGP Championship. And of course, those companies also have women's counterparts. So the WWE Women's World, WWE Women's Championship, the AEW Women's World Championship, the Knockouts Championship. And I think we have the NJPW Women's Strong Championship. I think that's their Women's Strong Championship. I think that's their women's title there. So they're top world championships. We are going to be discussing the men's championships and the women's championships, just to clarify what we're discussing in this, because context matters. So let me ask you guys just the next question, and I'll start with Joker and go to Wayne. What does the world championship, the world title, what does that mean, in your opinion, to the company? And then what does that mean to fans?
For the company, the world title is got to be the quarterback. It's not even just the face, because when it comes to different brands, you have several faces anymore. I mean, you can't watch any brand and see their trucks driving down the highway and you've got 20 freaking superstars on each side of the truck. So it's never really the face anymore. It's that locker room leader. It's the draw. Who's your draw? Who's on the mic? Are you able to freaking spit a promo without blinking? If you can't cut a promo, you don't need to be champion. The heavyweight champion, female or male, you have to be able to control the room. If you can't control the room, why is the friggin' title on your waist? It shouldn't be there.
I love the way you put that.
It's a game. It will always be a game. You've got guys that are coming in that all they want, their dream. I want to be the heavyweight. I want to be the WWE champion. I want to be the AEW champion. Great. That's fantastic. Spit a promo. Give me a promo. Tell me why you want to be champion. If you can't tell me why you want to be champion, then it's just because, oh, well, I've been a fan my whole life and I want to be champ. Good for you. There's a lot that comes along with the title. Your schedule changes. So you get that title on your waist at Mania. You're not just looking forward to Raw the next night. Monday Raw, no, because you're going to be in New York City. You're going to be on Good Morning America first. Then you're going to go do a couple radio spots in Manhattan before you leave. Then you're going to go to the next town that you're going to be at on freaking Friday for SmackDown. And then you've got to go back for Monday Night Raw. So everything about your entire career changes as soon as you get that title. So what does it mean? What does a caliber take? I don't know. I mean, again, who's the draw? What are the promos like? And is there going to be momentum after they get the title?
Yeah, the draw, then the run. Wayne, what are your thoughts?
Yeah.
I mean, Joker couldn't have said it any better, honestly. When I'm thinking about the world champion, I'm thinking of, and from a business standpoint, from whatever company is looking at it, lead guy who's going to sell more merch, not necessarily merch, who's going to sell more tickets, who's that guy? Can he sell tickets with his mic skills? Can he sell tickets with his in-ring ability, or can he sell tickets with both? Because if he can do both, or if she can do both, that should be your world champion. They can't, if they are great on the mic, which that's fine. I mean, if you're entertaining, you're entertaining. But if you get in that ring and you start, messing up everything, and it's not just like one match or one move, it's every single week. Why am I going to be entertained by your mic skills? But once you start wrestling, I'm going to be bored to death, or the match is not going to have any type of substance to it. There's no storytelling in the match.
Yep.
And then from a standpoint from the audience, and I think of it as like, pro wrestling is storytelling, and that's why we get pulled into it. Who's the protagonist of pro wrestling, of this company? Because if the story is being told in this massive show, this massive physical theater, who is the main character? Who is on the poster? Who is on the advertisements? If Roman or CM Punk are the ones dominating those posters and dominating that imagery, these are the contenders. Well, this is the world champion, and this is the contender. Meaning, it is believable if Punk beats Roman. It is believable if Roman beats Punk. We are holding our breath, and we're trying to see who is going to win. We're all making predictions, but not really one is guaranteed. Now, in a flip side, Gunther holds the World Heavyweight Champion. Now you have to suspend our beliefs that Jey Uso is going to beat Gunther. And it's kind of hard to do that when you're watching one and you're watching the other, and one's missing one and one's missing the other. And now that there's a problem with that. Why are we putting this guy who is selling merch really well, but can't wrestle? And then why are we putting this guy who good on the microphone, but what makes him world champion material besides, his mic skills, his imagery, but certain things in the match, it just don't cut. And
I want to throw in with that too, the one thing that neither one of us touched on, the part-timer aspect. As a fan, I hate the part-timer champion. If you're going to be champion, you need to be a champion. Be a fight. You don't have to be a fighting champion, but God damn it, be on TV.
Yes.
Show up to friggin' work. Ticket prices are outrageous anymore. Let's be real. All brands. Ticket prices are outrageous. If I'm paying to go to Monday Night Raw or SmackDown or Collision or Rampage or whatever, I want to see the friggin' champion. I want to see the champion in the ring for at least 5 to 10 minutes. I'm there for 3 hours. Give me my champion. Get rid of the part-timer champion aspect.
So I'm just going to go ahead and jump up on that, because sometimes when we look at the part-timer aspect of things, obviously we're looking at Roman at right now, but we can take that all the way back to Brock Lesnar, and when we had like 2 part-time champions, that was a mess. So let me run some thoughts by you. So a lot of people say that someone like Roman Reigns, who only has a certain handful of dates from throughout the year, because he's such a draw, they want to make him a special occasion. So if you see Roman, it's special. Or if you know Roman's coming, it's special. Same thing with Brock Lesnar. We're going to ignore all the lawsuit stuff for the sake of this conversation. but he's a draw. There are people who love to see a Brock Lesnar, love to see a Roman Reigns. They still love when the Undertaker spontaneously shows up. You can sell Mania tickets if you say that the glass is going to break and Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to run down from the back. So these are people who are not there all the time, and that's held as a special occasion. So to put the championship on them, the idea is that maybe that makes it more special. So I guess we're leading at, do we want a champion that's there every week, or do we want a champion that's a special occasion? And does that even matter anymore today? I'll start with you, Wayne.
I think that there should be a champion that is there, that is present, that is with the company. If you want someone to, and this is what I believe, if you want someone that is full-time to be your top guy, you have to build him into your top guy. You can't just rely on your part-timers to hold up the company. You have to organically build those stars. Let's say, I hate using names because I want to remain very neutral here. I think having somebody that is present, that is there, that shows up every week, and it comes out, kicks a promo, or has a regular non-title match on Raw, or kicks a promo, challenges somebody, does an open challenge, I think is more valuable to the show than having such and such is going to show up next week or in 2 weeks or on a random date. I really do believe that is a much more valuable individual who is just in and out workhorse champion. Much more valuable.
Joker, you got any other subsequent thoughts that you haven't already shared?
Well, I mean, when it comes to the title reign on a part-timer's waist, it's a waste of my time. Because like you said, you want to go or turn on your TV and you want to see the champion. Do I feel that it should be a fighting champion all the time and not be a part-timer? 100%. Yes. For me as a fan, I want to see my champion defend the title as often as possible. Back in the 80s and 90s, you had that. You almost had it every friggin' Monday night.
Just about.
You compare title runs. Like I will always call Roman Reigns the part-time champion because of this last run. He was what, 4 years, almost 4 years, right?
4 years.
Okay.
About like over 1,300 days.
4 years as champ. How many times did he defend that title?
It's
less than 20, I guarantee it.
That ratio is insane.
That ratio is insane.
Now you go back. Now if you look back at like somebody like, okay, Attitude Era, or even before that, the Golden Era, where you've got the Hulk Hogan had the title for almost all of the 80s, right? Or you had it on the Sheik for a given amount of time. They defended the title on a constant. So that's where I feel as a fan now, the part-timer aspect is frustrating because it is your main title. That's the title you're trying to say is the title. Mm-hmm. It's your heavyweight title. It's your world championship title. That's supposed to be the title. So if it's the title, that means that your top guy or your top girl needs to be that top guy, top girl that is always on TV, that's always doing house shows, that's, in my opinion, always defending that title.
So we have this interesting dynamic. Right now, we're leading into WWE's WrestleMania 42, and we have the match of CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, we've seen maybe 3 times since he won the Rumble, right, in January to become the #1 contender at Mania. Yep. But Punk is there every week.
Every week.
Yes.
Punk is there every week. Drew McIntyre, he's current. Well, no, I have to correct myself. Up until recently, up until recently was WWE champion, but he was WWE champion for a couple months. I almost forgot myself. He literally like just lost the title like less than like a week ago. But even looking at Cody, even Cody and Drew both were SmackDown. They were WWE champion we'll go at least since when he went back SummerSlam from Cena.
Yeah.
So then like, okay, cool. Then there you go. It's like they've been there every week. Maybe they miss one or two here and there, and that's fine. No one's mad about that. And then you look at Drew and Cody, and they handle the championship differently. Cody will get in anybody's face and challenge for the champion. That's a babyface thing. Drew, Jade Cargill, same thing. She's sitting here saying, I don't want to defend the title against just anybody. Find me somebody who's worthy, and she doesn't want to defend the championship. There's been a lot of flack on Jade Cargill. We'll get to Jade in a little bit. But again, it all kind of depends on the role of the champion, babyface or heel. And that role kind of impacts the story, which was my next question was, how should the world title impact storylines? Do you think that the world championship should always be involved in the top story? Who wants to go?
I'll go. Sure. I get a little nervous. Depending on the segment, I recall in the Ruthless Aggression era, there are some storylines that didn't need the World Heavyweight title to be as compelling as the World Championship segments. And mind you, I might get my dates wrong or I might get my events wrong.
It's fine. If someone fact checks this, it's fine. they can argue with their mama. They don't have to argue with us. You can just we can be wrong. I'll take the email. Like you can email me at Dwan at dlhearnwrights@gmail.com and let me know if we say something wrong. I'll do a retraction. That's cool. But otherwise, argue with your mama. It's cool. Go ahead, Wade.
But there were title feuds that carried the show. And it made you want to tune in for the next show because you wanted to know what was going to happen for the main event. What was the buildup for the next pay-per-view? And how can we carry this buildup from date, boom, pay-per-view? And I think it's the World Heavyweight Champion feud is the cliffhanger for every show. It's the one, I believe it's the one that keeps people coming to watch the next Raw or watch the next SmackDown. And I think going back to other events or other matches like the mid-card titles, mid-card women's titles today, those are part of the show and those keeps things interesting. But that's like, that's just the body of the show. You want to have the main show. This is going to keep us going. This is the main event of the pay-per-view. And kudos to the other matches, or kudos to the mid-card championships if they keep us involved as well. But I think the job of the World Heavyweight Championship or the Women's Championship is to keep us wanting to come back for more.
Yeah, I think the best way to follow with that is what Joker had mentioned earlier. I mean, when you said this at the beginning of I could almost like end the show. It's the draw. It's who is drawing tickets. There's currently some people who are apparently they're mad at Rhea being in like her 5th title match at WrestleMania. Be mad, because like I think the quote I read came from Booker T. He was responding to this. He did this on his podcast, and to paraphrase it, he's like, "She has the top spot. Take it from her. Try it. Like just take it from her. Like who in the women's division is going to out Rhea? Now, I will say there's some names that I could throw out there, and they're doing the damn thing right now. If I had to throw another name out there of someone who is championship material but doesn't have a belt on her yet, Liv Morgan. And I put a belt on Liv Morgan every day, twice on Sundays, even though we don't typically have pay-per-views on Sundays anymore. But that's not the point here. The point is Liv Morgan has put in work. She has put in the effort and the time and built story and built her character. And she has made her stories matter. And I think that's one of the things that's most important about the World Championship. You mentioned, you want to make sure that you believe that Punk can beat Roman, or that Roman can beat Punk, that it makes sense either way it goes. She's got her match against Stephanie McCurr, great champion. And one of the things that we love about Stephanie McCurr, keeping this clean, is that she is a tough fighting champion. She gets in the ring with literally anybody and holds her own. You can see a shift in some characters like Raquel Rodriguez. You can see a huge shift in Raquel Rodriguez as she has now shifted her wrestling style. And now she holds herself a little bit different. Like she really wants to be world champion at some point. So going back to what this particular question is about, is they've made this story surrounding the women of the Judgment Day and Stephanie McCurr and the Women's World Championship. They've made that story matter. They've made that an important segment to watch, because these are characters we now care about. Even with the CM Punk Roman Reigns thing, Punk is working a promo by himself. He's doing work by himself because Roman's not there. Does this have the same impact? It is close in the show, but does it work as well? Joker, does this work as well? Because the other half of this conversation isn't there. Are we resting on Roman's laurels to be world championship material?
I think after this last Monday, you almost answered your own question. Roman wasn't there, but the Usos had to do the job.
Mm-hmm.
The Usos were, they said they weren't Roman's mouthpiece, but they kind of were.
Mm-hmm.
Directly, indirectly, inadvertently, directly, however you want to look at it, they were indeed. Go ahead.
The story's there, the substance is there. I hate that anymore when it comes to storyline, when it comes to the title, that it's always the very last segment. Is it good placement as far as the producers are concerned? Of course, because now everybody's going to stay tuned to see what happens with the championship. But is everything else in line? You know what I'm saying? Like there's some shows on Mondays or Fridays, and not just even with WWE. AEW is just as guilty of this as WWE is, of placement of the title during the show. The segments, where are they placed to keep me interested? The story's great. I, as a fan, want to see Roman versus Punk 100%. 100% would love. That's a dream match. Of course, somebody wants to see Roman versus Punk. Who wouldn't? But does the story make sense as far as the long run later on in the year? Is it going to make sense if Roman takes it off of Punk? No, Roman's not freaking there.
And we're live again.
As far as it just making sense with storyline later on, does it make sense if Punk doesn't have the title? If Roman takes the title off of Punk, does it make sense later on? No, because Roman's not there. He's not there.
I mean, that's fair. Do you fear that having the world championship, let me ask you this question in a different way. If the world championship story, men's or women's, because there have been times the women's world title story has been the much better story in WWE, particularly. Yeah. Absolutely in AEW. I'm gonna lean on that here in a little bit. But do you feel like when the world title is not in play in the main event, does the show suffer?
No. If it's just regular TV, no. If it's a pay-per-view, possibly. You want your title to be in a pay-per-view. You want your title to be the main event.
I agree with that part.
When it comes to Raw, or SmackDown, or AEW Dynamite, or it doesn't. I don't think that holds substance as far as viewing purposes. Nah.
Wayne, you seem to disagree.
I do. Only because during the time when Seth Rollins was when he won the new World Heavyweight Champion at the time, and Roman was carrying the Undisputed Championship, there was a point where Roman, obviously, there were points where he was just gone. He wasn't there. And the World Heavyweight Championship was the only World Championship worth caring for. And let's be honest here, I think the only reason why the World Heavyweight Championship was introduced to like tag in for the fact that there is no World Championship. We need something. We need the World Heavyweight Championship because Roman's not here. He can't defend it. And it was a little frustrating because, all right, Seth Rollins, he's a workhorse, a fighting champion. But what about the other show?
Champion?
Yeah. What about the other show? What about the show that Roman's on, where you have all these guys, and there's no contender because Roman's not there. There's only one World Heavyweight Championship being defended, and then you have the United States Championship being defended, the Intercontinental Champion defended, and then you got the Usos holding both tag team championships. I don't know. It felt like the show was a little kind of out of place. I don't know. Not Raw and SmackDown, but the PLEs.
Yeah, so let's revisit that story real quick because the question is about the storyline. So let's revisit this story. We had two champions. We had the WWE champion over here. We had the Universal champion over there. And I'm talking. This is not an exclusively WWE conversation, but there's a lot of questions because the WWE's if we're being honest, kind of on some fuck shit. But so it's we laugh because it's kind of true. So here's the story, and this story, if you don't believe me, if you're an apologist for WWE, let me tell you this story again and remind you of some shit, and then you're going to remember exactly why I said it. We had Big E as champion. We had Roman Reigns as the Universal champion, and at one point, Roman had COVID for the pay-per-view, for Rumble, and he could not show. So what did we do? Instead of having Brock Lesnar, who was a contender, it was going to be Roman versus Brock for the Universal Championship, and they had a different match.
For the day one pay-per-view, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was a day one. It may be day one.
It was day one.
And then, see, y'all don't have to correct me. Wayne already did it. Calm down. Breathe. But it was for that pay-per-view, and then instead of just having Brock Lesnar show up, do a promo in the ring, and say, Roman lied about COVID, and he just trying to duck me. Wait till Monday, I'll see him. Or wait till Friday, and I'll see him. I'm going to get my title match. Instead of saying, you know what, I came here to fight. Send me somebody. Can you have an opportunity to take a new star and have them in the ring for a squash against Lesnar? That would have been a quick segment. You could have filled in the blank. You already had it scheduled out. It's fine. Don't even trip. But I think they took the fatal four-way that Big E was supposed to defend his championship, and they just threw Brock Lesnar in there. Then they flipped the script on E and made E drop the title. I think he dropped it to Lesnar. No, it was Bobby Lashley was involved in this somehow. I think Bobby Lashley was the person he was actually feuding with. But I think Lesnar beat Lashley and took the title off of E and helped put it on Brock, something to that effect. So now you've got Brock Lesnar as WWE champion with Roman as the Universal champion, and that led to the title versus title match at that year's WrestleMania. Exactly. You fucked over a really popular wrestler in Big E at a height in his career. Side note, for everyone who doesn't know, yes, it is true. Every black man who's ever held the WWE championship at some point has lost the championship to Brock Lesnar. The crazy fact, and I couldn't bring it up in February. But the point here is, but it's such a wild stat. And it's like, why though? But again, I digress to a point. Like that story, if you wanted to do a really big match with Roman at Mania with Brock Lesnar, that was it by itself. It's already there. Don't schedule. Like, everything here is pre-planned. It's scheduled, guys. It's
exactly.
I'm talking to people who either create their own movies or books or their live theater experiences, and it's like the story is in our hands. We can write the story however we want. if we want to build it a certain way, we can just do that. Like all this sideways rigmarole. I mean, obviously there are some things with injuries, you can't really control those. That was not the case in any of the shit I just brought up. So
yeah,
how do you feel about the world championship situation in that story and how that eventually led to some of the frustration with one part-timer being the champion here and the other part-timer being the champion there? Did that make the championship more special, or did that frustrate fans? Like we've been saying, like what was better for business in your opinion?
I was really frustrated. I think the setup really frustrated me because I don't think Bobby Lashley was pinned in that match. If I remember correctly, Bobby Lashley was like injured, and I put it in quotes, injured during the match and had to be carried out of the match.
Yes, I knew Lashley had a spot in that match in particular.
And I was thrown off. I was like, wait, Lashley didn't even get a chance to actually perform in this match. They unceremoniously pulled him out of that match for Brock Lesnar to get this win, because realistically, I don't think they wanted to have Lesnar and Lashley go at it in this match with all these people. I think they wanted to save that exclusively for the time that Lashley and Lesnar went at each other. And by the way, that whole thing was lackluster to the extreme. Such just a waste of a potential main event that should have been like fireworks and sparks and everything, and it just absolutely went nowhere. But I just hated the setup, just the way Lashley lost that match. And I don't know if Lashley was Big E was the champion, but for whatever reason, I can't remember what Lashley's involvement was in that whole story.
So no. Okay, so let me see. I'm looking it up because I can. So Brock Lesnar won in this match. It was a fatal 5-way from the fatal 4-way it should have been. It included Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, Big E. Big E was champion. And now I remember what the big controversy was. Yeah, they did the weird spot with Lashley. But I remember what the issue was. There was 5 dudes in this match total, right? You could have spared Big E by having Big E lose the championship and not get pinned. You didn't actually have to pin E, and he pinned E. And that's what frustrated fans. This whole thing this is all kind of a side note, but it all goes into story and how this story was perceived by the fans, which is why I'm dragging this conversation out. Because again, this is the World Championship. This is the WWE title, arguably the highest ranking world championship in all of professional wrestling worldwide. This is debatable, and I'm welcome to such a dispute. I know those in Japan would argue very furiously, but this is a huge story using the big names. This is like in 2022. So this is Rollins, this is Lashley, this is Lesnar, this is Owens, this is Big E. Top stars, top contenders, and you fiddle around with this story. Did it work? Did we care less about the championship here? Did it impact how Big E was perceived as a world champion? Joker, did this change how you saw Big E as a champion?
It didn't change my view of E. It changed my view of the championship in general. And at that time, and this is solely my opinion, but at that time period of WWE especially, the titles both on the women and the men were constantly being put on the same people over and over and over again. You're talking about the Charlotte Flair era, okay? Was it glorious? Parts of it, sure. Charlotte, I'm not taking away Charlotte being champion, but I'm throwing in the boredom aspect of, oh, here we go, Charlotte's champion again. Oh, here we go, Brock's champion again. It took away the luster. It wasn't against E. I wanted E to keep, to have the title again. didn't change that aspect. It totally took the shine off of the title, in my opinion.
Wayne?
I feel like this wasn't the first. Like, there were multiple times where booking set things up, set everything up for Lesnar to get that championship. Again, this is not the first time. This match, to have Lesnar win the championship, to have Bobby Lashley put out of the match, and for them to have Lesnar pin E, it didn't change my idea of Big E. It changed my idea of booking and how they were going about awarding the championship. Honestly, it's just them awarding the championship to Brock Lesnar. Another example, that Money in the Bank ladder match, and Mustafa Ali is about to grab the Money in the Bank. Boom, whose music hits? Brock Lesnar comes out and just knocks Mustafa Ali off and gets it. Like, what are we doing here? It's just, they literally just handed another title shot opportunity to Brock Lesnar. We all know Brock Lesnar's not gonna lose a Money in the Bank cash in. We all know this.
Yeah, and to come in at the end of that match, he came at the very end of that match.
Very end.
So he did no work.
It's
despicable.
It's not just lazy booking; it's lazy writing.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course the Kofi Kingston incident. We can go back to that as well. That is by far one of the most disgraceful title changes I can. Disrespectful, disgraceful title changes. I was so like, it felt like the air was just sucked right out of me while I was watching that.
And this is not just, and it's not just Kofi. In fact, it was the Kofi Kingston, and it was Bianca. No, it was it Bianca Belair who was champion when Becky returned? I think it was.
Yes.
Yes, it was. Yes. And they did the same thing. And so, and the reason why I bring those up to piggyback on what you were saying about Kofi Kingston, and this kind of leads into, you know, some of the conversations we're going to have in a little bit, but keep in mind, like, we have great champions. Kofi was a great champion. Bianca Belair is a great champion. And then you just toss them aside in a squash for someone who's just coming back. Or Brock came back. This was the debut of SmackDown on USA. And that's when you had the Kofi Kingston defending his championship against Brock Lesnar and lost it in like 9 seconds. I think it was like less than 30 seconds when Becky Lynch took the title off of Bianca Belair at Mania or SummerSlam or whatever it was. SummerSlam. And it's like, this is your champion. Mm-hmm. And if your champion can just be tossed aside in under 30 seconds, is that a diss to the champion or the championship?
Or just a middle finger to the fans, honestly. Like, we don't care what you guys want. Look, we as fans, we're not dumb. Kayfabe has been buried for years. We're not dumb anymore. And what I like to have some kind of observance of kayfabe, and because it's fun to, you know, look at it that way, because some people still try their best with it. Yeah, but you know, we're not fans that are gonna. Well, some of us won't. Some of us will. We're not gonna hop over the barricade and attack a wrestler because they want a match.
Yeah. By the way, real quick, don't do that. Like, if you're at a live show, understand that 99% of what you see happening in front of you is supposed to happen. It's just a story. They're actors doing a role.
And that shit hurts.
Jump the barricade.
And that shit hurts. Don't mess around.
Don't jump the barricade. Don't hit the wrestlers. And while we're at it, if you're at the haunt and you're scared, don't hit the actors. I'm gonna throw one in there for you, Joker. Don't hit the actors.
Oh my god.
They are actors. They're just, their job is to scare you. If someone gets spooked and they don't hit them, like, keep your hands to yourself. Keep your hands to yourself.
God.
Keep your hands to yourself.
You want to hop that barricade and go after Brock Lesnar if you want to. That's man.
If I'm security, I'm letting it happen. I'm just letting you know. If I'm security, I'm letting it happen. You know what? That's all you, bro.
got him.
You go ahead and do that. Because our personal thoughts and feelings aside, Brock Lesnar is that dude on the street. I'll tell you that. Fuck what he might be in the ring. He's that dude on the street. Like, it's not if they always say if like some guy like smacks your girl in the ass in the bar, are you gonna come at him? If it's Brock Lesnar, he might eat me, quite literally. And I don't know if that's
going to die.
That's not some smoke that I really, I mean, am I gonna say something? Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of guys that are gonna listen to this podcast is like, you bitch. I'm like, it's not bitch, it's Brock. Not bitch.
Smart.
Brock. It's like not Brock. Brock. Like it's
Brock.
Like I'm just saying, it's a thing. But these are things that kind of go ahead.
Yeah, I just don't think. Why are we insulting your audience? The people that are spending their hard-earned cash to come to your shows, and you use your storylines or your championships to insult the audience's expectations. And there's a thing of defying expectations the right way. There's a way to entertain by having the heel win. That's normal. That's if the heel wins, everyone's point. That's storytelling, because we know that a comeuppance coming. That's the bad guy can win, just like the good guy can win. But when you disrespect a certain performer that everyone's gotten behind, and you have someone squash him in like 15 seconds, come on now. That's awful. And it's not an sorry, that
happens. I get it. That was cats. And I'm leaving that in. Like, go ahead. I'm leaving it in.
Just tried to climb something and he fell and he just walked over. But there's an urn squash that is done for comedic purposes. Like maybe Santino Marella squashed, and it's done for comedic purposes. But your world championship being squashed in record time, that's not something to marvel at. You just ruined your top guy, and then later on, that top guy that just had as champion is moved back down to a tag team. What is happened with Jey Never re-challenged.
It happened with Kofi Kingston. Where's Kofi Kingston's rematch? I think he may have claimed a rematch like a couple of years later. It's like, hey, you know what? I never got a championship rematch. Like
he may
have done that like once, like a year ago. Like it would have been like a year ago, not like a year later, like a year ago.
Yeah.
And you think about how many world championship title matches has Kofi Kingston gotten since losing the championship to Brock Lesnar. And that was like one of the few championship title changes that actually made me cry. And, one of the other most popular video associated with that win was MVP and Chad Gaspard watching this in the bar and watching their buddy Kofi win the WWE championship. That match was a big deal, and you put a lot of work. The team that writes puts a lot of work into it. The superstars themselves puts a lot of work into it, and then you shit on them, and that shit crazy. Yeah. That shit crazy. And now I want to swerve a little bit, and I'm actually going to skip my next question. I'm going to go into these individual people. I mentioned Joe Hendry and Jey Uso. I'm gonna go ahead to ask the Jey Uso question because we just talked about Jey Uso. Same thing happened to Jey. It happened to Kofi Kingston. He loses the championship. He's kind of in the conversation, but not really. But they threw him back with his brother Jimmy right away. So Jey Uso had, in my opinion, one of the greatest character arcs in one of the greatest storylines in all of professional wrestling. In all of professional wrestling, outside of actually, I can't even think of a storyline that's better. The Bloodline saga in its full, as an individually watched saga, one of the greatest professional wrestling stories ever told. Yes. Actually, you can't argue with me on that one. DL Hearn writes, gmail.com. I'd love to hear if you have a different opinion. If this is ever posted somewhere that has comments, leave them there. It's perfectly fine. So he does all this stuff. He has a great personal character arc. He then separates from the bloodline. He goes, does his own thing, becomes a superstar on Raw. He goes into the Royal Rumble. Everyone's yeeting behind him. Everyone's got the momentum. He's got the push. He wins the championship at WrestleMania against Gunstar. He taps him out. And then everyone craps on Jey Uso and says he wasn't ready for the world title. Why wasn't he? Was he? Why wasn't he? Like, what was the story there? Joker, what's up with Jey Uso?
I don't think there's anything wrong with the Jey Uso character. I think the Jey Uso character is definitely championship material. It is Jey Uso the individual. His promos, as good as they can be, are not what they should be as far as being that top guy. You have to be able to talk, and he stumbles too much. He forgets what he's supposed to say. You can see it sometimes. I love Jey Uso. I'm a huge Jey Uso fan, but there are times where he forgets where the promo was going to go. And that's one of the biggest problems. I'm telling you, to be able to be on the mic is one of the number one keys as far as holding that title. If you can't cut a promo, you can't be champion.
All right, I'm gonna throw this to you real quick. Fantasy book. We're gonna look at the promo before the pay-per-view and the match itself. I'm giving you Jey Uso versus MJF.
MJF.
How does that play out?
MJF. He's the best freaking guy, dude.
Yes, he is.
Never mind being the number one heel in freaking wrestling right now. He's like the anti-heel, okay? He's the anti-heel.
Whatever, man.
I could not do this episode and discuss what makes a person world championship material without bringing up
world champion. He is world champion.
God.
I don't care what brand you're looking at. MJF is the freaking world heavyweight wrestling champion.
Would you say that he's world champion with or without the title?
100%.
Yes.
So what's the difference between MJF, Jey Uso, and this is to you, Wayne, Joe Hendry? What's the difference between these three stars? I know I gave you the craziest question.
No, that's all right. Again, and back to what you said, Joe. As soon as Jey Uso was put in the top spot, he started becoming flaky. Every promo just started coming unglued, and it made his presence. It took away the aura of the Yeet movement, so to say, and that's what like diminishes World Heavyweight Championship. You know, Joe Hendry put in a top spot so far is working. I mean, he's been given the gold button in TNA. He did a great job there. He's, and I know he said that NXT, he's given a top spot in NXT, and he is doing a great job there as well. He's holding his own. He is
currently the NXT champion, which again, as I specified earlier, not a world title, but previously he was the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. So.
And the thing with Joe Hendry is he's climbing the ladder the right way. He's doing a great job doing it. He holds his own on the promo. He's decent in the ring. When he comes to the main roster, I do think he's going to do a great job as long as he keeps doing what he's doing. But when you put those two in comparison to MJF, who is miles ahead on the microphone, I mean, every time MJF goes on the mic, you want to listen. This guy will make you hate him and love him at the same damn time. I don't even understand it. And when we talk about kayfabe, this guy is kayfabe because you can't really tell if he's in character or if he's not. I don't know. Is MJF a total douchebag? I don't know. But I know if I go to an autograph signing and ask him something, he's probably going to tell me to go screw myself or something because that's the character, and it works. It works. He looks good. He is great in the ring. He can carry his show. He can verbally destroy anyone on the microphone just like that.
Instant.
MJF is world heavyweight champion material. If it ever comes to the day that MJF wants to go anywhere in the pro wrestling business, no matter what company, they need to put him in the top spot. Yep. MJF is not a mid-carder. He is a top guy.
Top guy. He is a top guy.
So do you think that it diminishes a show? We're going to look at Dynamite right now, and they've got like 45 different mid-card championships. We're just going to pick one. Current Continental Champion is Jon Moxley. Do you think that if MJF in 3 months was Continental Champion while someone else was the AEW champion, do you think that that diminishes the world title, having someone like MJF not holding it or in the running?
Who's got the title?
Great question. We'll go with the previous champion, Hangman Adam Page.
I hate I despise Hangman, but
wow, that's a stand.
Yeah, I don't think he's champion.
Okay, so this is great. Let's lean on this. You say MJF is AEW championship, world championship material. You said, again, any company. So what is it about Hangman that you say isn't world championship? What makes him not, in your opinion, championship material?
Promos. Did you watch the other night? Did you watch the freaking the back and forth? Really? MJF came out with a freaking book ready to go. Page is over there fucking lost in the sauce, dude. His answers were so freaking vanilla, it's ridiculous. He's not a champion. He could be a mid-card champion. You could put the Continental Championship on him all day long. But don't put that AEW championship on him.
If I want to see somebody,
you're nodding. Yeah, let's go with it.
If I want to see somebody bleed in AEW, I'll watch Hangman Adam Page a death match against somebody. If I'm feeling bloodthirsty, I'll watch that match. But if I want to be entertained by a world championship match, MJF, and keep Hangman Adam Page away from it. Don't put the world title match in the hands of a death match wrestler. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm sorry.
Look, I feel the same way about Mox. Mox is a great wrestler. He's a hell of talent. The dude can cut promos all day long, but he is not the heavyweight champion of the world. He is not the freaking heavyweight champion.
Do you feel there was a difference between Dean Ambrose, the WWE champion, and Jon Moxley, the AEW champion?
A million times over.
What's the difference?
There's a big
difference. The character and everything is different. The way he carries himself, the no fear aspect of Mox as opposed to Ambrose. Was Ambrose fun? Yeah, he was entertaining as shit. But Moxley is an ass kicker. He just wants to bleed. He wants to watch you bleed.
So then why is he not world championship material?
Because he just wants to watch you bleed. He's a bleeder.
Yeah.
He's color.
So you just need more. There needs to be something more substance.
AEW needs a hardcore championship.
A prestigious hardcore championship.
First of all,
AEW needs a hardcore championship.
They need no more new championships. Tony Khan, you need no more new championships.
Do away with the stupid TBS or TNT freaking title. Do away with that and get a hardcore championship.
Because literally, guys, there's like not so much in the women's division, but in the men's division, there's the Continental Championship. There's the TNT Championship. There's a few others. I can't even remember them all. I can't remember who's got them all. There's just so many, and that's not even counting the championships from other companies.
Right.
Claudio is the CMLL World Heavyweight Champion. Let me go ahead and ask you about Claudio. Claudio is an amazing wrestler. He's always been a very clean-cut wrestler. I don't mean he was always a good guy, but I've always been like he was crisp in the ring. His power, undeniable. Never really trusted with that world title when he was in WWE and has yet to hold the world title in AEW. He is the CMLL World Champion. What does that mean to you? I'll start with Wayne.
You're hitting me with something. Again, I'm not too familiar with that championship, but since it is a world championship, right?
It is the top title in CMLL.
I haven't watched much of Claudio's mic work, but his in-ring work is, man. You want to talk about a guy that is like the epitome of an Iron Man in the ring? That's him. Strength, wrestling ability. Is his promo work good? I don't know. But if it can be at its top, at its best, then yes, he deserves to be in a world champion predicament. He deserves the championship that he is holding.
Let me ask, if he's that good of a wrestler, as good as you think he is, does he need to be great at promos to be world champion?
That's a very good question.
Because in the end, we're talking pro wrestlers. And if the pro wrestlers are as good in the ring as a Claudio, or as tough and holding such a great character persona as a John Moxley, as we've mentioned, then is that enough? Is that enough? Or do we all need to cut promos like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock?
And I'll use an example, because I was talking to somebody about this, and I told them when I first saw The Shield and I first saw Roman, and I said, that guy, I immediately called it. I said, that guy's a future world champion. Never saw him talk. It was just the way he looked. I was like, that's a future world champion. Then I saw him in the ring. I said, I like him. That's a future world champion. And once he started getting that solo push, he started getting on the mic. It was like, what's going on? What's happening? What is the big dog? What's going on with the big dog? His mic skills are pretty. They're under, and I think that really affected him as being a world champion. I think that's why he got so much flack, because he looks good. He's good. He's decent in the ring, but as soon as he picks up that microphone, he's lowercase, and that just was a problem. And then, I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. You're talking.
When he changed into the tribal chief character, it was so monumental. I mean, it was just beyond, and it was like that transformation was incredible. I thought it was great. His transformation, his allegiance with Paul Heyman, it was like we were looking at a brand new star. Like he went inside a machine and just became something else. And that's when I knew, okay, this is World Championship Roman Reigns right here. This is not big dog Roman Reigns. This is not the Roman Reigns that couldn't kick a promo against John Cena. This is top. This is top star right here.
Joker?
Yeah. I think when it comes into terms of like you talk about like guys like Claudio, the promo aspect is always going to be key, regardless of I'd say regardless of brand, but all right, with Claudio's title, it's lucha, right?
More or less. It's Mexican wrestling, yeah.
It's lucha. So
I think the LL in CMLL might be Lucha Libre.
Lucha crowds are different than regular pro wrestling fan crowds. So the promo cuts are different. So the way that to carry that title is way different than an American heavyweight title. Even New Japan is the same way. The promos really aren't key. Where here in the States, it's part of the story. You want substance. And I think that's a huge difference when you look at brands, especially comparison AEW, WWE. Storytelling is different. WWE is solely, especially in the past, 5-10 years, has been concentrating solely on the storytelling, not just in the ring, but verbally. Mm-hmm. And it goes in with your champion. Does that all coincide? Where AEW is more about the action. So your promo cuts aren't as important but it's still it's you don't want to. All right, for instance, Brock Lesnar, every time he had the title when he was under Paul Heyman, did you ever hear Brock Lesnar cut a promo? No.
That's why they had Heyman. Heyman was his mouthpiece.
Because when he was cutting promos in the Attitude Era, nobody wants to hear a high-pitched freaking big-ass beefcake dude. Nobody wants to listen to Brock Lesnar talk. They want to hear Paul Heyman. That's why Brock Lesnar as champion isn't as full of substance and girth as Roman Reigns being on the mic as champion. CM Punk being on the mic as champion. Friggin', AJ just retired when he was title holder. Golden on the mic and in the ring.
AJ Styles is flawless.
It has to be a full collaboration of everything, or you're not champion. You can go with any sport. You look at the other sports. If the Bulls in the 80s and 90s didn't have Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, would they have been the champions? Friggin'
Rodman.
Over.
Credit to Rodman.
They wouldn't have been, because they had those key players. They had those top guys that were doing the job, that were doing the work. It's the same thing in professional wrestling. If you're not doing the work to get, number one, again, the draw, you need to have fans. Bad guy or good guy, you're a heel or you're a fucking face, it doesn't matter. If you have fans, guess what? You're the draw.
That's fair.
If you can cut a promo, you're going to get the draw. You're going to draw them in. You're going to reel them in with the shit you're talking.
I really do think that going back to Lesnar, no one wants to hear Lesnar talk, especially in the time that he came in. But I don't think I can speak for everyone. When I first saw Lesnar, just the look threw me completely off guard. And I'm like, what is that? Like, look at him. He's got traps on top of traps. And I feel like
is the best way of putting that.
What is that?
It's freaking nature.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what really catapulted him into world championship status. Because who was champion at around the time Lesnar?
That would have been 2002. So we're looking at
Rock was
Rock, Undertaker,
Taker, Stone Cold was champ a little bit.
You're looking at like Austin, Jericho, Angle, Taker, Rock.
So we had
we're
these guys
entering that Triple H space.
Yeah, we had guys that were coming from the edges of the Attitude Era. So when Lesnar came in, it was like, whoa, what is that? That don't look like Austin. That don't look like The Rock. That looks like something we didn't have. Something that big we didn't have since the early 90s, the 80s. Someone that huge, and we're getting that, but in a more radical sense. Because now this dude looks like he's gonna eat me, and I think they need to put a belt on him because he's gonna eat everybody on the roster. I think that's what the look carried Lesnar in his debut.
And I think that carries on to kind of what I was looking about earlier when I was asking the question about MJF being Continental Champion. If you had Brock Lesnar only fighting a bunch of cruiserweights and squashes, or if you had him dominating the Intercontinental Championship division while you had someone like Chris Jericho as your world champion, does having someone that stands out so much, it's such a unique prospect. I think that's what we're boiling down to. Brock Lesnar showed up in 2002 as such a very unique prospect. Having someone like that in your mid card with someone like Jericho, which physically does not compare, just saying physically, no shot on Jericho. But does that take away from Jericho as champion? I mean, it's like, are you really the best guy in this company while that guy's over here?
I think that falls under the David and Goliath clause. You're not always going to have a champion that's a freaking beefcake.
True.
Rey Mysterio, when he held the freaking heavyweight title, really? He's the reason why they made cruiserweights was people like Rey Mysterio. But he was a fucking champion.
Should he have been world champion?
Hell yeah, he should have. He did the
I
work.
believe, yeah, he did the work.
He did the work.
He did
And
do
he
the work. I'll give you
He
that.
cut promos. He was a draw. He was entertaining to watch. He was a top guy that needed the title.
So I'm gonna bring up a very. Oh, go ahead, Wayne.
Oh yeah, I was actually gonna say it, but no, go ahead.
So I want to bring up a very specific match since you said not every champion is going to be a beefcake. No Way Out, 2004, Brock Lesnar defending the WWE Undisputed Championship against Eddie Guerrero. One of my favorite professional wrestling matches of all time. It's a long, drawn-out match. It's a huge beatdown. It is that David and Goliath story. But watching Eddie overcome and come out of the end, thanks to Goldberg, coming out on top. That is, if I remember correctly, Eddie Guerrero's maybe first and only world championship.
Yeah.
So was Eddie, and let's try to be objective here. Was Eddie in that match with the interference with Goldberg, which made sense for story, leading into the Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar match, hilariously the worst match of all time, quite possibly the worst WrestleMania match of all time, guarantee you. Can't even talk about that right now. I can't even talk about that right now. But was Eddie in that spot? Was Eddie world championship material? Honestly,
absolutely.
So what was it about Eddie?
Eddie was great on the mic. Eddie was great in the ring. Eddie was entertaining. Not only was he great in the ring, but he was entertaining. You knew, and the promos that he put on in contention with him going for the world title, he made you want to believe in him. And not in a way of, well, I fought, it was more of a redemption story because more of Eddie's dark side started coming out, and it inspired you. It made you want to believe, wait, this guy can really do this. He not only is he entertaining, but he relates to us. He relates to a lot of people's dark sides, and we want to see him win. That's love right there. That's getting the crowd behind you organically to cheer for this guy who relates to the audience. This larger than life big guy is starting to come down to a emotional level with the fans. And now it makes you want to believe that this guy can grab the flag and carry it up the mountain and defeat the dragon. And him defeating Brock Lesnar was such an emotional moment because he did it. And it was beautiful. It was freaking beautiful.
One of my favorite matches of all time. Joker, I want to add to that as I throw to you. For those who may not have been as familiar, Eddie went through a lot of issues with drugs and a lot of issues with his family as a result of that. He overcame those issues and came back to the ring. He was stronger and better than ever. Unfortunately, that's what led to the physical ailments that led to his passing. A very similar, although brief, situation happened with Roman Reigns when he had to step away. I think he relinquished the championship. He had to step away because his leukemia came back. And he came back and drew a lot of sympathy from the fan base. How does that love from the fans out of sympathy for real life situations impact how you see them as a champion?
I try to still be that fan that still wants kayfabe to kind of come back. I mean, look, everybody's got their personal shit that happens to them, and it's sad, that the leukemia came back, and it was scary for everybody, especially if you're a Roman fan.
Or if you're Roman.
But ultimately, at the end of the day, that the pity party for a character is kind of foolish to the point where, yeah, okay, everybody was glad that he was good when he went back into remission and he came back, and that's all fine and dandy. But that automatically drop him back into that top guy slot to be able to be in the title talk? I don't think so. I don't think it's fair because I'm again not taking away from Roman's talent, because hands down one of the most amazing in-ring freaking performers ever, and on the mic, he's definitely a champion. But at that time, there were other guys working balls out, trying to be top guys, wanting that spot, earning that spot, not just getting rode in. No, they earned it. They did the work. And it's, for me, it's that old school style of, you know, the 80s and early 90s, where you got guys that they had to legitimately fight for that spot. You had to be everything that we've talked about. You had to be in ring freaking talent. You had to be awesome on the freaking mic. You had to be entertaining when it came to the vignettes. Everything that came out, you had to be that guy. So why is it different now? Because people are throwing their feelings into the ring of, oh, well, the guy got sick. Who, you know, I'm sorry, you know, what's his face broke his leg and he's out for 6 months and he comes back. Do you pity party him and give him a title? No, you don't. Not because he wasn't there. He wasn't doing the work. So no, I don't think that. I think that's crap.
I really do. I think that's where they went wrong with Charlotte when they reintroduced her, brought her back, won the Rumble. I think that really derailed her, because we wanted to cheer her, and then all of a sudden these vignettes started playing of her coming back for the Rumble, and then the fact that she won, it just, I don't know, it took away from building yourself back up from the bottom and coming back on top. It just felt like she was just handed that opportunity.
Yeah, she'll always be the queen, but
yeah,
you
absolutely,
do the work to be the top guy.
Let me run this back real quick, because the same thing happened after Triple H tore his quad. He tears his quad. He's out 8 months. He returns. Mind you, when he left, he was just the Intercontinental Champion alongside Stone Cold Steve Austin as the two-man power trip. They were heels. He gets hurt in a match with Chris Jericho as they were defending the tag team titles. 8 months go by. He returns, enters the Rumble, wins the Rumble that year, wins the championship at WrestleMania 18. Comparing the Roman return you just talked about, the Charlotte return you just talked about, and that Triple H return in 2002. What's different?
Ooh. Ooh.
For me, it's the time frame, the era of fan base, story, and again, the work, the work that was their ground already laid out during the Triple H shit. Yeah, there was already there. They had already planned out. He was already doing work. Even when he was down, there was still that bug in your ear about Triple H. While Roman was down, did anybody talk about Roman? No. When Charlotte was down, did anybody talk about Charlotte? No.
No, not really.
That's the difference.
Yeah. I think, Triple H left so much of an impact at the time of how big he was. No matter what championship that he was going after or what championship he held, Triple H was that guy. He was so big that when he was injured and he was gone, that void was felt. It really was. And I'm not saying there wasn't a void with Charlotte, because he started to miss, oh man, Charlotte's gone, Asuka's gone as well. That was the same at the same time. Asuka got hurt too,
more or less, yeah.
So, but it kind of went quiet for her to pop up in such a way to return at the Rumble and win it. It felt like the work was, and then the cocky, arrogant promo work that went on afterwards, kind of like it just made it worse. It's like
it ruined the Cinderella story that they tried to
did.
It ruined the Cinderella story that they were trying to play out.
I just want to go ahead.
I think that's what ruined it, and I think we really had to figure out, hey man, the heat for Charlotte is at a nuclear level right now, and not the good heat either. This is that heat, get out of here. So they needed to backpedal. They needed to figure something out, and putting her with Alexa Bliss was the best thing they could have ever done.
I agree. Bliss is untouchable. Just a side note, the things that happened while Triple H was gone, the entire invasion. The entire invasion. Just throwing that out there.
There it is.
Triple H leaves and they did the entire invasion angle while he was gone. They brought in literally a whole nother company while he was gone.
That's a void. You could feel that.
And I'll tell you this, to kind of piggyback on the point you were making, Charlotte returning at the Rumble and winning it that night without any other work leading in does counter what Triple H did in 2002. Because Triple H came back on Raw. It was January 7th, 2002. Don't ask me why I remember that, but I do. It's January 7th, 2002. He comes back. He comes back at the end of Raw. And, you know, we've been pushing for the whole thing. We've been talking about it the whole night. Triple H comes back and he has the interaction with Kurt Angle. But then it's building up towards the Rumble, and then he wins the Rumble. So you say that made the difference. He put in, it was just those extra couple weeks.
Sure.
Because this is 2 weeks, maybe 3 more Raws between that and the Rumble.
Because there was substance laid out, because there was something there for us to bite onto. It made it
There was
different.
a build up, a solid build up.
So just to kind of get a summary of what we're talking about now. One, it's being able to touch on multiple skills that are necessary to be a successful wrestler. We're talking the in-ring work. We're talking about putting in the effort, the time, paying your dues, and being able to work the mic to entertain the crowd and do the promo work. I want to ask this question with all that in mind. We talked a lot about your Jey Usos, your MJFs. We were just now talking about like Charlotte and Asuka. Is this standard different when it comes to the women's world championships?
No. Why should it be any different? They want to be held at the same standard and level as the men when it comes to in-ring. Why should it be any different as it comes to cutting promos and in-ring? It should be just as women work harder for everything they get as it is in any other attribute in life,
yes,
fellas.
They do.
So let's dive deep into this real quick. Of course they need to work a little bit harder. The women's division in every freaking brand has blossomed beyond anybody's freaking comprehension.
With an asterisk. I'll throw the asterisk in here in a second.
Yeah. And so I feel that they need to be just as good, if not better, than the men. Yeah. Especially when it comes to cutting promos. Women's promos can bore you to death sometimes.
What is it about women's promos that you think?
If it gets too drama-filled high school bullshit drama, I don't want to watch that crap.
Yes. Now I will say the asterisk, that's kind of an asterisk that's 2-part. The first part of the asterisk is to remind you the standard of women's wrestling has only just now changed mainstream. So I will say that there was probably a big difference between Lita and Mickey and Trish in the earlier 2000s versus the woman I really want to talk about here in a second, but I'll mention some others. Your Jade Cargills, who I just want to talk about this one particular woman, so I'll just go ahead and throw her out there. Timeless Tony Storm.
Oh, I love it.
Hold on. Let's not dig too deep. The other side of the asterisk, though, is the women's division in TNA, since they developed the women's division in 2007, has always been top-notch.
Powerful.
Yes. The
Knockouts division, I mean, love you, Stephanie McMahon. I really do. Call me. But the Knockouts have been literally knocking it out since 2007, no stops.
Come on. Jordan Grace,
no
greatest
stops.
Freaking women's champion TNA's ever seen.
I'll hold that one. Mickey James.
James. Yeah, all right.
Gail Kim.
Awesome Kong. ODB.
Tara.
The beautiful people.
Yeah. Okay.
The beautiful people. Tessmacher even was pretty good. That's where she was Jade at the time. That's where Mia Yim really got her former title.
Yeah.
Mia Yim was in TNA. Jordan Grace. I've been a fan of Jordan Grace for a very, very long time. Before she got signed to TNA, I'm a fan of Jordan Grace.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, Jordan Grace, 20 times to Sunday. So the women's division in TNA. So if you love women's wrestling and you've never watched TNA, listen, I'm not sponsored by anybody, and nobody's giving me a check. They can, but no one's doing it yet. Get the TNA Plus, whatever it is, whatever you got to pay to get the library, and go back and watch women's wrestling in 07, 08, 08, 09, 2010, 2011, ever. Let's just say that. TNA women's wrestling ever. It's always been top. Are they always going to be your favorites? Probably not. But Mickie James did her best work in TNA wrestling. The Beautiful People, one of the best girl factions ever. ODB, you weren't ready for that. Winter, you weren't ready for that. Rosemary, you weren't ready for that.
Oh my.
Jordan Grace, you weren't ready for that.
I don't care what anyone says. I was a big Awesome Kong fan. I loved it. I was like, this is new to me. This is really, really new to me, and I love it. I love it.
And Havoc, I've had a big crush on Havoc for a long time. I'm gonna throw it out there. So here's my question: everyone that I named just now from TNA's Knockouts division, past and present, have been Knockouts champion, and we bought it at a time when women's wrestling wasn't taken seriously at all. So looking back at them and then talking about even your Jordan Grace and I forget what her new name is, the women's champions of current, what makes them world championship material, and how does the grading scale shift?
I think right now it's a different level. When you had the Divas thing back in the day, and then TNA came around, and then you had your Knockouts. That's when WWE had to change the title. If you think when they turned the title from the Divas to the actual women's heavyweight title,
that was 13.
Yeah.
I think that was 12 or 13. We still had about 6 some odd years of that purple ass pink butterfly.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the TNA was always holding the torch when it came to the women's
unstoppable
period.
Unstoppable.
You know, and even now, like, TNA is always just going to be running it, but AEW's women division, they're just as freaking just knocking the shit out of each other as TNA.
And again, I want to hold off because you can't even talk about women's championships in AEW. I mean, you have Statlanders.
Statlander's amazing.
You have Statlander. You have Tekla, who I believe is the women's champion now. Let's go ahead and stop there, because Tekla is one of those things that you pause on. You pause with Tekla. I'm gonna throw this to Wayne. What's special about Tekla that makes her world championship material?
I think it's her look. I really do think it's her look. Not in a sense of like, no, in terms of aura, because you have to have a certain aura. Rhea Ripley has an aura, and WWE. Tekla has an aura as well in AEW, and I think that's what gives people the opportunity to gravitate towards. That's what gives her world champion. It makes her women's champion material. I feel like in some cases, aura can overshadow and take over for look, and now it becomes the look and the aura, like the emotion or the feeling that a character gives off when they enter the ring or they enter the arena. We all know Undertaker had great aura. The guy just oozed with aura.
Yeah, the dark entrance is always
it's great. Rhea Ripley, her aura when she enters the arena, the music, the stage presence, the ring presence, that's aura. And I think Tekla has that as well.
And I want to be real clear before I throw this to Joker. When we talk about the look in here, we're 3 dudes talking about this. Let me be very, very clear. We are not talking about how attractive or the sex appeal of a
no.
None of that has anything to do with nothing. We're literally talking about presence and how you carry yourself as a champion. You walk in looking like a champion. Like you walk into the ring like, this ring is mine. Bitch, I wish you would. Like, that's what we're talking. That's what we mean by look. Joker,
and that's why I wanted to. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no, you're
And
good.
that's why I wanted to specify aura. I wanted to use the term aura instead of look,
Very wise,
because
sir,
I know
very
a
wise.
lot of people would like misconstrue. Oh, he's talking about how good she look. No, aura, and that's
Right.
why I wanted to throw like male
And I wanna
wrestlers
make
in
sure
there
I
too, because
clarified that,
some
yeah.
people have aura. You know, when you enter a room.
And let's not act like my wife's not super obsessed with Roman Reigns and basically every other Samoan wrestler.
Hey, look, my
And
wife,
Trick Williams.
yeah,
And Trick Williams. My wife
Randy
loves Trick
Orton.
Williams. But throwing it to Joker, you know, we have Tekla. What is it about Tekla? She's so new in AEW in front of everybody. What is it that sets Tekla apart, makes her world champion material?
Again, the aura aspect, the commanding look at me without even trying, owning the room is key. It all falls in line with your in-ring and your on the mic. If you are walking in all slumped over and trying to be champion, I'm not believing it. If you walk in chest puffed out and looking around and knowing that that's your shit, you're champ. These are all key components that fall into play when you are talking about a champion.
Now, we have a completely different attitude when it comes to one of my favorite women in all of AEW, possibly most of wrestling, Willow Nightingale. I love me some Willow Nightingale. Now, she has not yet held, I don't think she's held the AEW Women's World Championship yet.
No, she's I think she's TBS champion.
She is TBS champion now. Actually, I think she just won another championship, last night?
She retained last night, TBS.
Right.
She's
the tag team champion. She's
tag
the
team champion.
They knew there was two belts involved. She fought another champion last night and retained her title. That's where I was confused.
Yeah, CL champion.
Persephone.
Yep.
So the question is, she's never been world singles champion. She's the world tag champion for the women, and she's the TBS, which is the AEW mid-card championship. Surprisingly, the only one. Surprised they haven't thrown 4 more titles in that division. Because if anything Tony Khan loves is to buy championship belts. Whatever. I get it. I've got 2 up here, but I'm not running the company. Is Willow Nightingale world championship material?
She's getting there.
What's stopping her?
That's the best
Her promos. Her promos are getting better. Her in-ring is there, dude. She is amazing in-ring.
She is a treat to watch in the ring.
And the way she carries herself, she's fun to watch. She walks down that ramp, and you know she's having a good time, number one, and she's getting ready to get in there and whoop somebody's ass.
Yeah. So in a death match?
That surprised the hell out of me.
Wild work.
I was not ready for that.
She has the potential, yes. It's just not there yet.
So do you think, now this is a very important question because a lot of people, and I'll throw it right back to you, Joker. A lot of people have the difference in the opinion of whether or not the championship makes the champion or if the champion makes the title. So I'll ask you this. If Revolution is this weekend.
Saturday.
We'll go to Dynamite. We'll just skip over the Dynamite. Let's say she gets in a match with Tekla, wins the championship from Tekla next week on Dynamite. She is now the world champion. Has she earned it? Is she a believable world champion if it happened next week?
Is Willow? No. The work aspect, sure. The in-ring, sure. The follow-through of being able to be champion, I don't think so.
She's already TBS champion. What's the difference?
Because of the caliber of championship that you're talking about. You're talking about the heavyweight championship. You're not talking about a mid-card title. You're not talking about a tag team championship. You are talking about the women's AEW championship. No, she is not ready for that. She's not. I love her to death. I'm a huge fan. She's just not ready. Statlander would stomp on her if Stat had the title back on her waist.
Wayne, your thoughts on Willow?
I like her. I enjoy watching her in the ring. Her in a death match is a real treat. I don't think she's up there. I don't think she's in the same rank with Statlander and Tony Storm. I don't think she's up there. Not yet.
So let's talk Timeless.
Let's
talk Timeless. Again, this is another one of those. You can argue with your mama because I don't even want the email at this point. Timeless Tony Storm is present tense the greatest wrestling gimmick ever in professional wrestling. Absolutely, right now. Again, You can argue with your mama, not me. Try Jesus, don't try me. This is not happening on this show. Timeless Tony Storm, greatest professional wrestling gimmick of all time. She's absolutely and arguably the best gimmick today. Something shifted. She's a 4-time champion. She's had 2 in her rocker gimmick in AEW, 2 as Timeless Tony Storm. Was rocker Tony Storm world championship material?
Absolutely not.
No.
I didn't like the whole thing she did with Saraya and
the Outcasts.
The Outcasts. I didn't like it.
It was her and Ruby Soho.
Ruby Soho. I did not like it. One, I was more of a bigger fan of Ruby Soho than I was of Tony Storm. And then I wasn't too big on Saraya that much. So Tony Storm, I just felt just someone that was carrying over from WWE, didn't cut it, moved on to AEW, so forth and so on. Then the Timeless character just blew my mind. Absolutely. You're talking about a aura change, promo style change, just everything. And it by far was the most genius thing that you could do in pro wrestling. Just the aesthetics and her work. It almost like she felt the character. She took kayfabe.
She became Timeless.
She wrapped kayfabe around the neck and wrote it like it was hers.
She resurrected it. Yeah, she resurrected kayfabe.
Perfect. It was perfect.
So what made? I'm not even going to ask if Timeless Tony Storm was world championship material. I dare someone to look at me in the face and tell me no. We might have a match that day. I got belts. I'll be at the Imaginarium in July. Come at me. I'll have a belt with me. But here's the kicker. So what? It's the same wrestler. The in-ring style didn't ultimately change all too much. Promos did get better. I think she felt into her character a little bit more. What was it? Based on the standards we've kind of already established here for that top champion that carries a company. Nowadays we do take a women's championship a little bit more seriously. So it's more of a tag team that carries a company. It's the men's champion and the women's champion. What was it?
I think with Tony Storm, when she first got the AEW title, was almost like a pity handover. Thanks for coming. Glad you're here. We want to keep you here. I agree. There was a transfer over of a fucking character that let's be real, WWE shit all over the Tony Storm rocker character.
I think they literally threw a pie.
Destroyed her with the freaking pie in the face.
Nothing has wrecked a character more than that pie.
The fact that this kid came back and came to the next big company and tried to run that character still is good on you, kid. I'm proud of you. You did a good job. But that's where it's different. The Tony Storm rocker is and will never actually truly be a heavyweight champion. Timeless, keep that belt on that woman's waist, please. What are you doing?
Yeah.
She resurrected kayfabe. The way she talks to Tony, come on. When you watch Tony Khan blush because he's not quite sure what Timeless is going to throw at him, that's gold. That's freaking brilliant. It's magic. So
she is magic.
again,
Tony is magic.
it falls
He really
into
is.
line with those things we've been talking about the whole show of what makes a champion. She is what makes a champion. If she's got the belt or not, she is still a top guy who everybody shows up to see what she's going to do next, what she's going to say next.
But you never know that.
So
Those
yeah,
promos are wild.
again,
That's promo work. That is promo work that is, I would almost say the only person that could compare to Tony Storm on the mic is MJF.
oh God, yeah.
That's it. People want to talk
whole-
pipe bomb all you want to. You can talk pipe bomb all you want to. You can give me your Psalms. You
Pipe
can give
bomb-
me your Austin
pipe bomb doesn't
316s.
exist. No.
MJF is the only one who can compete with Tony Storm. And I would love to see a face-to-face.
The media scrums after AEW are so much fun, all because of MJF and freaking Timeless Tony Storm. Let's be real.
I have the feud between Mariah May and Tony Storm, and when you are into a story, good versus evil, and you watch the bad guy come up on top, and the good guy is at their lowest point, and they're coming back up, and they want to prevail. And that promo that Tony Storm, I haven't been that emotionally moved by a promo in so long. So when she came back with all that dust, and I think she was acting as her rock star persona, and then she took it off after being brutalized. I literally got up from my seat and I was like, "This is amazing. This is how you do it. This is how you
I'm
get
fighting
into pro
tears
wrestling."
now.
Because
Thinking
that was
about it,
awesome.
I'm literally fighting tears right now because
I was pulled in so hard.
pumped when she came, when she just revealed as like the best actor ever. I've done the best. You're just like,
man.
I'm literally fighting tears back.
Let's not undersell the hip attack, okay? The best hip attack in the damn industry, son.
I wasn't kidding. I'm literally fighting tears.
How do you not get out of the way of that hip attack? You see that thing coming a mile away. It's only a 20 by 20 square, folks.
And it hurts. It hurts. It looked like
whiplash. That whiplash is real.
My neck hurts.
I'm gonna tell you, I think if you listen to this episode this long through almost 2 hours, like God bless you. But if you're watching this and you can see how excited we are recalling a particular like in-ring moment, that moment with her and Mariah May rivals I'm sorry, I love you with Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair. Easily rivals.
The finale.
That's what makes a world champion. It's the impact it can have on people one way, another, or both. You can't just really have a little of this, a little of that. You kind of have to have the total package. You know, more or less of this or that, sure. Because MJF, for example, hardly wrestled for a while. He almost never wrestled and was still the top guy in AEW because his promos was that strong. Now, when he did wrestle, he worked. And he worked. But it was very sporadic. And that was kind of almost on purpose. But of course, the Tony Storm conversation leads into the Mariah May conversation, who did win the world championship off of Tony in the course of that rivalry. Mariah May, I am still teary-eyed. Mariah May is currently in NXT as Blake Monroe. And there's been a lot of conversation, at least in my opinion, about how Mariah May / Blake Monroe has transitioned in AEW. Was Mariah, this is a two-part, I'll let you both kind of take a couple minutes. Was Mariah May, specifically Mariah May in AEW, was she world championship material having beaten Tony Storm?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's an easy yes. That's a hard yes.
She was the perfect villain.
She did the work.
She did the work. She was the perfect villain. Her turn on Tony Storm was you
Gold.
wanted to hate
Oh.
the crap out of her.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I hate her. I
Yeah.
hate her so much. And the title was just the ice. Title win is the icing on the cake.
Yep.
Now I really hate you. Now I want Toni Storm to beat your ass.
Yep.
That's how that's what makes a great heel champion.
Yep.
I think it's not go away heat. It's heat in point of I hope the face beats your ass so bad when you would to get this title from you. And I think that I think that's what made Mariah May perfect for not just the arch enemy of Toni Storm, but the perfect person for Toni Storm to end that feud and take the title off of her. Yeah.
Joker?
Oh, I agree 100%. I've got nothing to add to that. That was perfect.
All right. So now the second half of this. Blake Monroe. Is Blake Monroe world championship material?
No.
It's literally the same woman.
But it's too.
What are we
not
doing?
her fault.
So the question is, so what has changed in the aura and presence of Blake Monroe
It's the
in a world without Toni Storm?
It's the character work. It's not her work ethic. I'm not saying that she's not putting in the work. It's the character work. It's who she's supposed to who she's selling, who she's supposed to be. And the sell isn't there. I don't believe that you want to be NXT champion.
She doesn't have a nemesis. There's not a nemesis good enough.
There. The substance isn't there. Yeah.
You need something to bounce off of. You that asshole attitude, you need a face to bounce that off of. And right now, I don't think there's no one good enough to bounce that off on.
No, it's not.
Maybe if she moves to the main roster, there might be somebody there.
But
she's not ready for that yet. She's definitely not ready for that.
So let me ask. At no point in time have we needed a nemesis for MJF. But I was always concerned that the only thing that made Mariah May championship material was the fact she was in that spot with Toni Storm, which is one of the reasons why I think that she left after the fact. I think it was really hard to book a Mariah May as a believable world champion outside of Toni Storm. So MJF didn't necessarily need a particular rival. Neither did Austin, Michaels, or many of the other people that we mentioned. But why Mariah? Or I guess in this case, Blake.
Because those individuals you just spoke of put the target on their back. They wanted that heat was there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're talking MJF didn't need a nemesis. Of course,
a particular nemesis.
Right, because everybody hates him. Everybody wants to take him out. Same with, all right, back you talk Stone Cold era. Stone Cold didn't need a nemesis. He was the top guy that everybody wanted your spot.
He was kicking the door in.
That's
kicking
right.
the door in, talking his shit.
That's
the thing with Blake Monroe is she's not kicking any doors. She's just there talking. But what does she want? What does she want? Who is she talking to?
Yep.
You're not giving her somebody to talk shit to. You're not giving her anybody to be that versus screen.
Right.
It's not there.
Yeah, there's no sell.
So what does she need? If we were going to convey, if we were all of a sudden the writers' room in NXT, I
hate to say this, and I hate when, because it can work in some cases and it can't work. It probably mess up. Do you redo the betrayal angle? Have her gravitate towards someone or mentor someone, sort of, and then have her turn on that person and then create a feud out of that way. Similar to
Jordan Grace, she already tried.
Well, I think if they put her in a full faction instead of just the teammate aspect, you give it full faction, I think that would probably work. The more talent to bounce off of, the better.
Yeah.
Especially right now where she's trying to reinvent. This character is different, so it's a reinvention. So to have that more than just one. Give me 2 or 3 other girls to be with, to sell and to make this character believable and to buy into as a top guy.
So let me ask: does she go for fatal influence? Does she kick out JC Jane? Does JC Jane take an opportunity to move up to the main roster and the Glamour walk in, and now she's the new face of fatal influence? Is that what she needs?
It works.
That would work.
It's a solid heel faction that would work with what she does. Yes.
Now, Toxic Attraction. Do we remember Toxic Attraction?
Yep.
I loved it. Best one of the best.
Before there was a Timeless Tony Storm revolution, there was the change in Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose was secondary in her tag team. She was just the other chick on the roster. They move her to NXT. They give her Toxic Attraction. She runs that faction. She's NXT champion for 400 plus days. She unifies the title from the UK Championship. Beats Sakamura, one of the most respected women's wrestlers of all time. And we buy it. What changed in just that switch, going to NXT, having those two behind them? What changed in Mandy Rose that made her barely believable as a wrestler to being clearly a top champion? Now, granted, I've already discounted and removed the NXT championships from this particular conversation, but she held a top championship. She became believable, and we wanted her to be WWE Women's Champion after the fact. So what changed?
I'm going to start off by saying this, but I will never forgive WWE for hitting the delete button on Mandy Rose. I will never forget.
Biggest mistake they ever made. One of the biggest mistakes they ever made.
How are you going to Hulk Hogan Mandy Rose? How do you do that? Make this make sense. What? Because a little expose? Are you serious? Is this what we're doing today?
Because her contract was so small that she had to make some extra cash to be comparable, and she made some extra cash. I'm sorry, that stuff's behind a paywall, and your 13-year-old fan is not going to have the access to those things. Why are you worried about it? And if it is, there's all the lawsuits involved. That's not their business. We digress. But
one of the best females, homegrown, by the way. Mandy Rose came in, created by WWE, transformed in a way, and it worked. It worked. And you get rid of her. How does that makes absolutely no sense?
I've never seen a ball drop so hard.
She hung herself with the OnlyFans deal.
Right, but is that really? Should we really have lost Mandy Rose on that?
If your contract has a conflict of interest clause in there, yes.
Okay.
I don't know.
Legality. I'll acknowledge that a contract is a contract, an agreement is an agreement. I will give you that. I'll give you that. But what Mandy Rose did in NXT, the way she transformed, she did exactly what we were talking about with Blake Monroe. She gave herself a small faction, killed it. JC Jane was part of that faction.
Yes.
And so was Gigi Dolan. We got Priscilla Kelly in there, into that group as Gigi Dolan. I loved that group. I love the aura that group had. I like the presence in the ring that group had. And I guarantee you, JC Jane wouldn't be where she is now, leading Fatal Influence, had she not been in Toxic Attraction.
No.
Mm-hmm. I was the whole, when Mandy Rose was the blonde hair and the golden, wrestling gear, I thought it was another attempt to give her the Trish Stratus look, give her the Trish Stratus aura thing. And
she
it wasn't
Eva
working.
Marie with a different name and a different color scheme.
We all knew it wasn't working. We all knew this. So they needed to give her something with a little more attitude, a little bit more of a push. Because if something's not working, well, you need to not push him a little bit, give him a little bit more attitude, a little bit more angst, a little bit more rebellion. And I think they found the right mix for Mandy Rose, because the character that they gave her, man, she just meshed with it. It worked. It worked. The hair change was the icing on the cake too, because certain little ticks, like something as simple as a hair color change, is right there. It's cherry on top that can fully set a character in the right space. It really can.
Joker?
I agree. 100%. You know, the transformation in her was very noticeable. Again, there are certain people in every aspect of entertainment that just do better with other people. They do better in a tandem situation. And I think when you look at Mandy, that was her. I think if they had tried to make her NXT champion by herself, it wouldn't have worked. She had to have that faction with her, it didn't transfer. It wouldn't have. That's why she got dropped back down from the main roster down to NXT anyway, because what she was doing just wasn't selling. It wasn't there. When they put her in a faction, when she had those people to be tandem with, it was a totally different situation, totally different character that you were looking at, and the sell was believable.
I want to ask about one more, because she was a top champion in the company she was previously. And then she comes here, she's in NXT. She never got the NXT championship. I'm not sure she got titled down there at all. She's on the main roster now, and she looked like she was in a program. I think she recently got an injury, so she may be off TV for a little while. And we've already mentioned her once, Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace, probably one of the best women's champions in all of TNA history. One of, because Mickie James still exists. Also, you have Deonna Purrazzo, and I cannot do an episode about championship material without talking about Deonna Purrazzo. Love me some Purrazzo. But then again, you look at these people who were TNA champion, like Purrazzo, like what is John Morrison's wife?
Valkyrie.
Yes, Tyra Valkyrie.
Tyra Valkyrie.
Tyra Valkyrie. Deonna Purrazzo. Jordynne Grace. All top champions in TNA. Honorable champions. Reputable champions. Clearly championship material. They had it. They've gone to other companies. And the title reigns are dry. So what is now with Jordynne Grace, she was kind of doing the face-to-face with Jade. She's got an injury now, so that's going to obviously kind of hang her up. So that's really not her fault. That's just kind of life. But championship material, is Jordynne Grace still championship material?
Yes, but
Absolutely.
She has to put the time in. She just now got bumped up to main roster. Look how long Jade was on main roster before they even thought about putting the title on her waist. You've got to put in the time. It's a necessity. I as a fan, I feel it's a necessity. I hate watching these kids that come from either from other companies or straight from NXT that just think that push is going to happen. I think you still have to put in the work, and the story has to make sense. If the story doesn't add up, then why are we doing it? Why is it even in a conversation?
Now I'm going to counter this by throwing. I love throwing hard questions at Wayne. Jordynne Grace was face to face and doing this business with Jade Cargill, and there's been a lot of heat on Jade Cargill about whether or not she is actually world championship material. So I ask you, is Jade Cargill world championship material, as she is currently the WWE Women's Champion? Has she put in enough work?
I don't think she's put in enough work. I do not believe that she's put in enough work to be a world champion. And that promo that Rhea had kicked, what was it? Was it SmackDown? I think it was SmackDown.
SmackDown last week, I think. Her and Rhea had a face-to-face.
And she hit the nail right on the head. She said, "You are built as your look is an aesthetic, not built to perform like Rhea Ripley is." And I think the only reason to put that belt on her is because of the aesthetic look. Can she be great in the ring? Yes, she can. Does she need more work in the ring? Absolutely. Is she good on the mic? She is decent. Can she do better? Absolutely. I think they should have put a mid-card title on her before they put that world championship on her. I really think it is way too soon. I really do believe that. I think that Jordynne Grace would have worked better as a women's champion if they wanted that kind of aesthetic, because Jordynne Grace has been, man, I feel like WWE is not treating Jordynne Grace with the absolute respect that she deserves, because they look at her as an NXT come up and they're not looking at the fact that she's been slugging it out on the indies and TNA.
She has a body of work
a long time.
She's got a killer body of work.
She's not an NXT startup. She's not a beginner. She's been in the game for a long time. Why are we treating her like that? Why are we putting Jade Cargill over her when Jade Cargill's body of work is not that extensive? It's really not.
She's got the TBS title reign. But again, we all know how title reigns are. They're written that way. So
yeah,
that's not really an expression of Jade. That's an expression of Tony Khan's writing. So,
and again, it goes back to the look thing. Yeah, Jade Cargill looks fantastic. She can stand there and pose all day, but we've seen what she does in the ring, and she needs a little work. Maybe Jade Cargill's the one who should have been put back on NXT, and Jordynne Grace should have been the one to come to the main roster. Because
Joker? Do you
He's not
agree?
wrong. He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
They rushed it.
I thought from jump when Jade Cargill came into WWE, she should have been down in NXT for a good while. I think that from anybody that comes from another company to WWE should spend time in WWE's developmental program, because it's a different program. Their style of wrestling is different than AEW. It's different than TNA. It's different than New Japan. It's different than Lucha. So yes, I think it should they have gone a different direction with both of them. 100%. Jordynne Grace should 100% should main roster. Should, right away from TNA, again, maybe a little bit of time in NXT just to get that feel of WWE's way of doing, and then right to the main roster. And she's done the work. Yeah, she's got that solid freaking resume of saying, I've done this shit. Here I am. So, yeah, that totally should have shifted the other direction as far as those two are concerned. But
I think Jay would have done a great job in NXT. She really would have.
Yeah.
They would have gave her the time that she needed to develop all her skills and everything. Yep. Jordynne already had it. She's been had it.
She's already wrestled some of the best women in pro wrestling outside WWE.
Best women and men.
Yeah.
She's done
men.
And men.
You're not even lying. Like, you throw that out there. And men.
Yeah.
She should have prospect right there. I think, man, it's a shame, because who is Jade's fighting Rhea? And as interesting of a match that is, I don't think it would have been I don't think it'd be more compelling than Rhea versus Jordynne. That's a main event right there.
Yeah.
That is a main event, because you got Rhea, who is home. Well, not really. Actually, no. Rhea comes from the Indies as well. Comes from the Indies.
Yeah.
Comes from NXT. Has done the work.
NXT UK. That's not even like.
Yeah, exactly.
NXT UK.
Again, totally.
And
different.
then came NXT, and then went main roster.
Yep.
So there's a build-up. There's a massive history right there, and then you got Jordynne Grace, who's done the Indies in her own right, and has done TNA. There's a match right there. Why aren't we looking at this as a better matchup for these two that have such a a very similar route to becoming big stars. Why we're looking at Jade, who is still pretty fresh. She's still pretty new. Jade Cargill is a name, but she's not a massive name that you can. I don't know. I feel like she's not a massive name that you could say she's a pro wrestler. She just looks. She has a defined look, but she's not, in my eyes, a professional wrestler like Jordan Grace and Rhea Ripley.
There's a big difference, even like comparatively the aesthetics. There's a big difference between Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. Yeah, Bianca Belair has put in the work. Matter of fact, if it wasn't for the EST being such a great nickname, she could live off being the work. She has the work.
Speaking of work, I have to go. It has been a lovely conversation, gentlemen.
Of course. Right. We'll catch up with you later, Joker.
Yes. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for being here, man.
All right. See you guys
later. No big surprise. We've been on here like 2 hours.
Oh yeah. No, I might have to.
Don't worry. I have like just one more question left. Honestly, I'm done. But I knew that he was probably hanging out and waiting a little bit longer than he should. But we talk about the transformation and going back and forth between different companies and Sword and how that kind of changes the perception. Earlier in the conversation, I know, guys, that was a really long time ago, but earlier in the conversation, we talked about how different companies do things differently. So to close this out, you have New Japan, we have the WWE, we have AEW, we have TNA. Does the quality of world champion differ from company to company? And if so, why?
It shouldn't. Honestly, it shouldn't. I think most of the companies should be aiming to have their champions be the best. And if and they say competition means that everyone's doing their best to create their biggest stars. Competition is good between companies, because I think when the companies really focus on going at each other, not in shooting names off or anything, but actually doing their best to put on the best shows, the best matches, we as professional wrestling fans we're in the best seats possible, because now we can tune in to AEW and watch some great stuff. We can tune in on WWE and watch some brilliant stuff. We can tune in to TNA and New Japan, all of it. We can watch some good stuff because the companies are doing their best to put on the best stuff. But and that comes in tune with their world champions. If the companies are putting their best people as world champions, the quality shouldn't fluctuate, because the quality of their champions is based on the quality of their company. If their company is used to putting on good stuff, then their world champions should be just as good as the quality that the company puts on. If their champion is just not really a great champion, and that probably speaks for what kind of company is being ran. So with that being said, we've had instances where WWE has put the title on certain individuals, and that is a representation of the quality of matches and shows that are being presented. Whether it's lazy booking, whether it's bad booking, or whether the booking is fantastic, and we are in for something awesome. And it goes the same way with AEW. When Swerve became world champion, awesome. I'm tuned in. I love it. MJF.
I was literally listening to Swerve's music as I was waiting for you. Yeah, that song really does hit different. It really does. It's a great theme. Swerve's one of my favorite champions in the last some odd years.
And MJF is champion. I'm tuned in, because now the quality of the show is great, and everyone's trying to do their best. Especially if you have to go up against MJF, now you really have to put on your best mic skills, because if you don't, MJF is going to eat you alive out there.
He is going to eat you alive.
If you are put on the mic against CM Punk right now, CM Punk is going to eat you alive.
He is.
That the thing is exactly, and and you know the match is going to be good, but right now, what makes a great match going to WrestleMania is the buildup. Make me get into this. The biggest problem right now that I'm seeing with Cody winning the championship and going up against Orton is that I've been wanting to see this match for so long, and it's here. But the problem is there's no buildup. We have no buildup. So make me want this match more than ever.
So there is one final question, but I think it's fair to sum up the last 2 hours or so. By the way, thank you for being here. Thank you, Joker, from Malice Manor in Clarksville, Indiana. They have an event going on tomorrow. He's not here to push himself at the end, so I'm going to take a moment here. Malice Manor, you can look at them up online. They have an event tomorrow, Friday, March the 13th. I don't know if this will be out by then, so I'll have to put it out like tonight. But don't put it past me. I'll put it out tonight. Yeah, sure. But they have events at their haunt year round. They have these things going on at their haunted attraction year round. So if you want to see something really great in Halloween, around Halloween, September, October, that's a great place to be. If you want a couple spooky things to do around Valentine's Day, that's your place also. You want something, it's Friday the 13th in the middle of March. Do you want to go somewhere spooky? Malice Manor has got your spot. They're going to have events during the summer. So if you're just in the summer, you love horror, you want to see what kind of crazy things they got going on there, check out their website, find them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram. They're going to have events throughout the year. Maybe not every weekend, but they're going to have definitely events throughout the year. So please find Malice Manor on the internet, find Malice Manor on Facebook, find Malice Manor on Instagram, because again, he's not here. He has an event tomorrow. He had to go handle some business. So I want to make sure that his business and him had a wonderful, a little bump right there, because he's not there to give himself a little rub there, a little credit. Shout out to his other co-owner, his wife Amanda. Shout out to her. If you want to learn more about them, you can find my other show, Suck of the Moon. There's a full interview with both. I digress, and leading to the last question here is, to sum up what we've talked about over the last couple of hours, I think what makes a world championship material, it has to be their presence and their believability in being the best person on that roster. I'm personally perfectly okay with a championship that moves around, because that shows me that the caliber of wrestler in this company isn't just in the hands of two people. The top caliber isn't just Austin and The Rock. It's Austin. It's The Rock. It's The Undertaker. It's Kurt Angle. It's Chris Jericho. It's Triple H. It's all of these. It's Brock Lesnar. It's Big Show. Didn't believe that one. But it was all these different people. One of the questions that I actually skipped talked about the ruthless aggression era of SmackDown. When you had like the Big Six, where you had Edge, you had Eddie, you had Batista, you had Ray. I can't remember all the other ones, but they were all there. You built up a Batista, you built up a John Cena, you built up a Randy Orton, and they developed enough of a reputation based on who they fought, who they won, the struggles that they went through in story, and you believed that they built themselves up to be the best person on the roster. And maybe someone else is in their stratosphere when you have, Punk going against Roman or going against a Jey Uso. Do we really believe that Jey and CM Punk are on the same level? Do we believe that Jey and Roman are on the same level? Do we believe that Gunther and CM Punk are on the same level? Do we believe that Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre are on the same level? I'll leave that for you guys to determine. But I think ultimately what it is, leading into the last answer that Wayne gave us, was, we have to believe it. We have to buy it. You have to convince me, the fan. I get it. It's a story. Someone in a boardroom is writing the stuff out. We understand that. Look, I'm a writer. He's a writer. I'm a filmmaker. He's a filmmaker. We create characters all the time. It's what we do. We understand that we have characters to create. They have to do things in order to have certain things about them believable. It's a thing. We understand that. But if you're going to tell us that your company is the best wrestling company, in the world, you have to show me by showing me the caliber of wrestlers you have. And amongst those wrestlers, men, women, or otherwise, the caliber of wrestlers that you have to show me who's the best, who's the standard bearer for your company. Tying into what I think Wayne said, I think that closes it out really, really well. So I have to ask the question to tie into the last question, and we'll wrap up. What's championship? Not so much the current champion. We're not looking at the current champion. But which championship is the top world championship?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Right now, at this very
on
moment,
this day, I see clearly.
I'm gonna go with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship held by CM Punk.
So you think that the championship, not so much Punk himself, but the championship itself has the caliber over the AEW world title?
Currently, yes. Okay. Yes. I know. I'm gonna get some flack on that one.
I mean, y'all can send the emails to him if you want to. I'll take them too. dlhearnwrites@gmail.com. Feel free. If you're confused about where the email is, you can find my website, DuaneLHearn.com. I would have to disagree, and I would just disagree to say I think the AEW Heavyweight Championship is probably the top title. And I would say that, again, this has nothing to do with the current champion, but there is something in the champions that have held that title that, based on everything that we've said in the course of this episode, those champions have made me believe, right? There's a lot of flack given to Hangman Adam Page. I did not think that I was going to get that much flack against Adam Page. That actually literally shocked me. I was surprised. But when he was champion, even most recently and then beforehand, people wanted it. They believed in I try so hard not to say Joe Hendry. They believed so hard in Hangman Adam Page. But the same thing with Joe Hendry. People bought into Joe Hendry. That's actually another question that I skipped because he became a sensation off his theme song. But people wanted to hear the theme song. They wanted to see him in the ring. It helped that he was funny on the mic. He entertained. It helps that he was able to hold a good match. Shout out to AJ Francis, who made Joe Hendry. Again, like I said before, you can argue with your mama. You definitely can't argue with AJ Francis. I wouldn't do that to save the world. Follow AJ Francis on like Twitter or whatever platform. He is hilarious to follow. But it is the rivalry with AJ Francis and TNA that made Joe Hendry, like certified him in the ring. And nobody's done that kind of a favor since. But the AEW champion, you're looking at recent champions like Samoa Joe, Hangman Adam Page, MJF, Swerve motherfucking Strickland, one of the best world champions in the last 10 years. Fight me. Fight me in the imaginary. I'll bring a belt. Fight me. Not Swerve. Not you, Swerve. Don't you fight me. But anybody who argues with me, y'all can fight me.
Someone else that WWE dropped the ball on. Didn't even know what they were doing. I
don't even think Swerve knew what he had at that time. But again, Swerve had a transformation very similar to time with Tony Storm, where it's just like it just happened. Like they found the right things to click in a row, and it worked. It just worked. Yes, and absolutely. I think it's sometimes you know when to pivot, and there are some characters that learned when to pivot, and you have to have when you have quality characters, you have to validate those characters with the world championship. That's what happened with Tony. That's what happened with MJF. Happens with Swerve. It happened with Punk. It happened with Cody. It happens with a lot of people. And we use the title in that way. So yeah, after nearly 2.5 hours, Good God. If I need a promo code just to throw in here for someone who lasted 2.5 hours on this show, you deserve something. I did mention earlier, there is a promo code on any of my semi-wrestling related stuff on my website, DuaneLHearn.com/shop. Use the code unkind for 15% off. It's a shot to Raven Con because you stole my shit. I can do that. I don't even care. I'm not going to get an invitation from them anymore. It's fine. They didn't invite me in the first place. If they invited me to use the thing, anyway. Either way, that's what you get for hanging out long enough. You get the promo code you heard at the beginning of the episode. Wayne, tell people how they can find you, where they can learn about all the miscellaneous stuff that you've got going on, and do not worry. I'm going to give him plenty of time on another show of mine on this exact same channel. If this is if you're watching this on YouTube, there will be another show. There's another show called The Moon Unscathed. I will do an interview with W.W. Mitchell. We're going to learn a lot about Wayne on that day. We're going to schedule that here after this episode. But tell the people where they can find you and learn more about you and your work, because you got a bunch of stuff coming out in the next couple of years.
A lot of stuff. I keep my head down. Right now, Legend of Sky City, my current novel, is out. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever books are sold. If you want to see me in person, I'll be in Paramus, New Jersey, April 4th at Barnes & Noble, signing copies of Cataclysm Kin. So check me out there. You can find me on Facebook, w.w.mitchell, or you can visit me on my website, which is even more confusing, www.w-w-m.com.
Brother,
just remember it. Maybe I need a website change.
Listen, I'm not one to tell a person to that's a lot of dubs, Doc.
I think
because he be winning. That's because he be winning. He needs all those W's. He be winning. That's what he needs those W's for. Oh man, it's www.w-w-m.com.
Yep.
Brother. So understand that you can probably get away with the deleting W's. You can probably get away without those. So let's just go with w-w-m.com. That's still a lot.
It is a lot.
We're gonna work on that.
I got
purplewayne.com. You just go ahead.
Hey, that does sound pretty easy though.
If you do that, your whole gimmick's gotta change. Like, you're gonna have to wear purple everywhere. It's a gimmick thing. It's a whole branding thing.
Purple and have a rain cloud over me with like real rain.
The t-shirt's coming. The Purple Wayne t-shirt is coming.
Oh my god.
We're gonna talk about this off camera, because I've held this guy up for so long. He's got books to write and movies to make, scripts to write, and awards to win over me.
To finally start on one that I've been holding off for quite a while.
So this has been W.W. Mitchell. We had Sean Joker Durkin on earlier. God bless you, man, for being on the show. I appreciate you so much for being here. I hope the shout out that I gave you and your company was good enough. I meant that from my heart. It's a great place. I love being there. Those are wonderful people who are there. And I, of course, am Duane L. Hearn, more affectionately known as the Moon. And all of this has been Moon Eagles Wrestling. Thank you guys for sticking around.